Hi, everyone. Welcome to Well-Behaved Women, a new podcast about old ladies.
Or
ladies of
old.
Or ladies of old. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Hannah. And here with me today, as always, our hostess with the mostest, Miss Lauren.
What's
I
up?
was going to say hi.
Hello.
And then, of course, B.
Hey.
Hey, B.
What's up, dude?
All
I
right.
love that you throw a little peace sign even though nobody can see
Well,
you.
we
Like,
can
what's
see
up?
it.
This is for you guys.
That's just for
Thank
us.
you. I appreciate
Sorry, everybody. It's not for you.
Not for you, Gary.
It's not for you. All right.
Okay.
So for today's episode, we are actually going to kind of keep it over in East Asia.
Yay!
Woo!
Love a theme.
Not the whole time, but we'll get there.
Okay.
All right. On this year in history,
Beep, 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 beep.
The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is published.
Oh, I love that.
Read that as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
The Swedish Dress Reform Society is founded. That brought about the death of the corset and advocated and designed dresses fit for comfort.
Oh, my God. Thank you, Sweden.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Nobody likes a corset. What are we doing?
I
No,
know.
we don't know.
It's a fucking
was
bitch and a half to
fashion.
take off. What are we? Nah.
But B. It was fashion.
Function over form. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, yeah, nowadays. But back then, nobody wanted to breathe, right?
Fucking A.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
The baby sneeze.
Yeah, we've been fat phobic for like a good set of centuries, you know,
Yeah.
for a long
Yeah,
time.
after it was cool to be fat.
I know.
We'll swing back. Don't worry.
Yeah. I know we will.
It'll come our way.
Yeah,
That's fine.
We need to actually survive.
Oh, and an American pharmacist, Dr. John Pemberton, invents a new bubbly beverage he will one day name
Coca-Cola. Oh, and it was good, apparently.
Cocaine-a-cola.
I know.
And Spain finally abolishes slavery in Cuba.
Well,
Okay, so...
What year are we in?
Coca-Cola, late 1800s.
Okay.
After the Civil War, I'm gonna go in the 1870s.
it's probably like closer to 1890.
Okay. I'm gonna say 1878.
Let's go with 85.
85. B still wins. It's 86.
I always lose by Price is Right.
Oh!
But within 1 year, I'm
First
fucking
you
on it
said-
today.
Hell yeah.
5-year-old to 4-year-old.
I know.
85 to 86. I'm fucking hot shit today.
And it is not a hot day.
That's beautiful.
It's actually awesome. Yeah. The wind is very intense, though.
Well, yeah, I could use without
That's
that.
All right, so we get Wilhelmina Vautrin. She was born in Secor, Illinois, to a French immigrant named Edmund and his wife, Pauline.
I actually know where that is.
Secor, Illinois. I used to live in Illinois, but
Is that how I
don't
pronounce
know.
it, is Secor?
I'm not from there. It looks like Secor to me, but I don't know. I've only passed by it. I've never actually been
Saker.
Secor.
there. Yeah.
If somebody knows how to pronounce that, please let us
It's like
know
in the
nicely.
it's in the central rural area
Okay.
of Illinois.
Like mid-state. Like,
Yeah.
how far from Springfield?
I mean, probably within an hour.
Oh, okay, so it's in the area.
Let's give it a goog real quick. I can tell
Illinois
you.
people, we need to know exactly where in Illinois we're
Well,
talking
if this
about.
is going to be a history pod, we might as well be fucking accurate.
That's who thought?
Big ass cars, trucks.
Fucking dumb dicks.
Fucking dumbass
Dick
dicks.
Dynasty.
No, don't get Dick Down Dynasty confused with dumbass dicks.
Okay, we started. Yeah, Secor is, or Sicker, however you say it, is just north of Bloomington, northwest of Bloomington, where I went
Okay.
to school. So it's probably about 70 miles from Springfield.
Oh, all right. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're talking flat, green, perfect corn farming land.
Right. So, well, but they weren't farmers. So
Okay.
Edmund had immigrated from France to the U.S. for a blacksmithing apprenticeship.
Ah.
I don't know if it was from... he was a French immigrant, yeah. They had immigrated to the U.S. for blacksmithing apprenticeship, and when he and Pauline married, they had 3 children. Their first son died in infancy, and Minnie was the eldest surviving child. Their family was religious, like most in the area at that time.
Yeah.
When Minnie was 6 years old, Pauline died. And for some fucking reason, instead of being allowed to stay with Edmund, she was shipped off to a bunch of foster homes.
And they don't say why.
As you do. She's bounced around for the next 3 years in different homes. I I want to say maybe it was like Edmund kind of went off the wagon or something, but I don't think there's not really any
dispute.
there's not really any evidence of him being,
Unfit for parenthood. Okay.
Exactly.
That's sad.
So she went, but when she got home, he kind of just couldn't take care of himself. So she took over all the woman's work, like cleaning and cooking and laundry. That was when she was 9. So he got her back a few years later, and it was just right as she was getting old enough to do some choring.
And see, I was just learning how to make grilled cheese.
So, she was one of those annoyingly perfect people who excelled at literally everything she ever put her mind to.
I mean,
like,
good
if
for
she
you.
said it, she could do it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm just going to stay there. Good for you.
She loved to learn and was super good at it. Her teachers all praised her work, and many who knew her called her a genuinely Christian girl.
Okay.
Like,
genuinely, fuck that means.
Like,
a
girl that lives,
girl.
like, literally. Like,
literally
all
was
of her time is spent either studying or helping other people.
Or talking to Jesus.
So, in high school, not only did she keep up the house for herself and her family, but she worked multiple part-time jobs to save for an education, and she volunteered the rest of her free time helping with local churches in the area.
What free time?
Like, as far as Christians go, she was like walking the fucking walk and talking the talk.
Yeah, but she was probably only sleeping like 4 hours.
It didn't matter. She was getting energy with the power of Christ.
She's freaking St. Mary.
She's just slipping her granola bars. Like, you got this.
Granola bars. LSD and
Chewy bars.
That's
Come
how she's
on.
getting through it.
Yeah.
It's just sugar. It's so much sugar.
Concentrated PCP.
Well, because working many part-time jobs is not a good way to save money.
Even though that's the way everybody has to do things nowadays.
Yep, multiple part-time jobs.
Gig economy.
Yeah. And they're paying her far shittier than she deserved, obviously. We're underpaid and overworked. And
well, she's a woman. It's
1800s. Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but you know what? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, I'm just trying to be historically accurate.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know.
She's a woman. So it took her a really long time to save up to get into college. She was accepted right away, but had to delay a number of times due to the lack of funding. She didn't have money. But when she graduated in 1907, she was the valedictorian of her class and spoke at the commencement ceremonies.
Damn right. All that hard work went to good use.
She was popular, she was tall, she was pretty, and she had long dark hair. There was a lot of interest in these men that wanted to court her, but she was just never super interested.
Okay, so good for you. She's got her eye on a prize.
Basically, then it's not men at this point. She's like, I'm helping other people.
Well, let's be honest. How many men are a real prize?
True.
Yeah.
There are some.
Oh, God.
There's a few, and I'm not even saying I'm one of them. I'm just saying it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck getting back into the dating pool here now.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's
Fantastic.
3 billion scumbags out there waiting
Yeah,
for you.
trust me, I've been down this rodeo
Love that
before.
for
I
you.
am so well versed in what I need to be on the lookout for.
Balls.
Looking out for balls? Is that, yeah?
Look
If
out for
that's
the
your
ball.
thing, I
Make
just
sure
mean
there's at least
as an
one of them.
As an exclamation. That's fine.
Balls.
Yeah.
Balls.
After graduating, Minnie taught math at a local high school, but wanted to go back to school for herself.
Right.
Which, of course.
Love.
Once she saved enough money, she enrolled at University of Illinois and got involved on a campus group called the Student Volunteer Movement,
Nice.
which dealt with foreign missions.
I've never heard of this woman. I don't know how I've never heard of her.
So, I'm just speculating here, but this is kind of the point. There was just no return. Like, if you're gonna live a missionary life, you're gonna, live a missionary life. That's what you're gonna do.
Your life.
Right.
Oh, shit.
And especially, if you can afford to travel abroad, it's super addicting. So,
okay.
You just kind of can't come back. Or you can, but then you want to go again. So if you get to have a chance to get paid... Yeah, and she had a chance to get paid to go and help others. And she was a religious woman who, by all accounts, really was kind of the perfect Christian girl. She wanted to spend her free time helping the less fortunate. She was living her life by the principles that Christ espoused.
Yes.
Not the ones that Christians
She got the
today.
real message.
Yeah, she got the real message, right?
I'm already ready for the downfall.
I know, I'm waiting for that other shoe to drop. I'm trying to see what's going on here. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Oh, so I am going to I will give a trigger warning for this episode.
Okay.
So
Yes!
Oh, here it is. B knows now.
We love when it gets dark.
There are dark themes of, very violent war crimes.
Oh, shit.
So sexual assaults and suicides are all going to be discussed here, so just be ready for that.
Sheesh.
But when they show up as a surprise, listen on.
Hey, as long as we know.
Yeah. All right, so that's all coming.
Out of the pit of despair.
Yeah.
The pit of despair.
The abyss.
So she just decided she wanted to become a missionary.
Okay.
She graduated in 1912 as salutatorian with a bachelor in science. She wanted to teach and educate it. She wanted to teach and educate, which had always been very clear to her. The pastor at the university had taken the time when she was in school to get Minnie in contact with the Foreign Christian Missionary Society, who then contacted her on, like, when she graduated and asked her to replace a different teacher that was leaving one of their schools in China.
Okay.
They had all of these new schools that kind of popped up in China as they're trying to build these international relationships in the early 1900s. As, you know, all of a sudden, like, the imperial Chinese... It's the imperial Chinese time is, like, crumbling and dying. So, 1912 is also when they signed the abdication decree.
Okay.
That we talked about.
Right.
With Cixi.
Yeah, so that was the end of their dynasty or imperial dynasty era.
Right.
Okay.
Dynasty. You said it again.
I don't. That's how I say the word.
You're watching too much TV.
I do.
So funny. I actually knew a girl at ISU who played on the softball team but was studying to be a nun.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
It's a big deal in the rural Illinois area. There's a lot of, like, different pockets of Christian communities.
Interesting. See, I don't know a lot of that. The only thing I know about rural Illinois is it's where my great-grandma's from.
Yeah.
My grandma's from there, and they're from Centralia. And like,
Okay, I know exactly where that's
okay,
at.
okay. So all I know is their high school mascot is the Centralia Orphans. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a fun fact for people to know
Cool
now.
story.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool story, bro.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Double downer, let's go.
It's just it's a place.
It's a pretty boring place. It's pretty flat.
Oh yeah.
Pretty gray most of the year.
Elsewhere in the world that is not wherever the town you're talking about.
Yeah, elsewhere.
And who the fuck cares?
Yeah,
Who the
pretty
fuck
much.
cares to Stan? All right.
Stan. There's no brown people there.
End of a country name.
No, I know. It's go ahead.
Sorry.
Here's a
We didn't mean to none.
No, I'm just.
We're just yeah.
Ania?
Yeah, that's closer. Ania would be a lot. Yes.
Who the fuck
Alia.
cares Ania? There we go.
Uh-huh.
All right. Damn.
Oh fuck.
Anyway.
Warriors are painfully white, as I say.
Yeah, sorry I brought us there.
No.
I've often asked myself the question, what if I lived as a woman in a different time or a different place?
Which time?
So here's a brief look into being a woman in China in the early 1900s.
Ooh.
Imagine this in your brain as we're building a little mental image.
Imagination.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I want a little sparkly, like,
Need like a
little harp that goes into an
We
image.
wind
a harp
chimes.
for
We
sure,
wind
yeah.
chimes. Oh, it's harps. Yes, harp.
Yes. Throw a wind chime in there, too.
Yeah,
Don't want-
whatever. It all works.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, so we're just going to kind of list this out baseball card statistic style because there's nowhere to start.
All right.
All right, so women were not allowed to be participants in government.
I was literally just
Yeah.
gonna say, tell me all the inequities.
The
Yeah.
lineage values of the Chinese people were strictly patriarchal and patrilineal.
Of course.
Marriages were still seen as unions between families and often involved sums of monies and good in exchanged for the match.
Yeah, dowries.
An alliance.
Yeah, and alliances.
Alliance. Usually a bride price paid by the groom's family would buy his bride.
Well, yeah, how else are you gonna do it?
Small girls were married off to
talk to
Chinese
her.
men, as arranged marriages were common, and it would sometimes come with the abduction of said bride.
Yeah, that is something that actually still happens.
They would then enter those husbands' families' homes and live with them. Men are welcome to practice polygamy and have concubines.
Only if I say so.
See, now I just thought that was a nobility, like royal family thing. This is like all across the country. They were men just
in
practice.
a lot of different places of the world.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like I'm talking about China.
Monogamy is not really, it's a very, almost very American concept. Like, there's a lot of places that
Well, it's a pure,
monogamy
it's
now,
a
but, like-
puritanical concept is what
Yes.
it is at its heart.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess I just never
So
thought
I guess it's
China
a white person.
in the early
Definitely.
1900s.
It's definitely a white.
I guess I just, yeah. All right. I'm learning things. That's what this podcast is all about.
So in one area in the northwest, the Uyghur Muslims, Uyghur. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm going to say Uyghur Muslims. I don't.
Sounded like you said Uyghur Muslims.
Oh!
No, I did not. I did not say that. I did not.
God. Now there's a fucking explicit warning on this episode.
The Uyghur Muslims could have any number of wives and concubines, as well as temporary marriages for purposes of being pleasure wives.
I see.
And mullahs would sometimes marry a man to hundreds of women.
Yeah.
Of course, these men could also divorce any of these wives at any time for any reason or none at all.
Mm-hmm. As is tradition.
Women had to stay in the home, not marry anyone else, judged by how many children they could bear, and be totally subservient to their husbands. The women did the cleaning, the cooking, the housework, and generally just all of the work of the house. Foot binding was still a common practice, permanently impairing growth and balance.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Unmarried women were seen as whores. Children
Yeah.
were born with STIs. It was a mess.
So wait, just the fact that you were unmarried made you a whore.
If you were mothers and you were unmarried, you were
mothers.
fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
So of course
You were
there's-
not great.
Yeah,
Clarify
that
there.
I thought you just said.
I did say unmarried women. I didn't mean.
Ah,
I
okay,
didn't
that's
mean
where I
women,
got-
meant mothers. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say because that would be like
Unmarried
yo.
mothers were seen as whores, and children were born
Oh.
with STIs.
Yeah.
Female infanticide ran rampant in the nation. It was so popular that the local Buddhist nunneries in some areas would build baby towers where one could drop off a baby and leave it to die. The baby would sometimes survive up to 2 days exposed to the elements, all the while screaming its head off because it's fucking dying. Locals would just walk on by and ignore the screams.
Oh.
That's intense.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay. I don't.
Just give them the tigers, jeez. Make them quick.
You're not.
That feels
wrong.
inhumane.
Yeah.
God,
that's
it's
like
sad, yeah.
less cruel.
But it's like, it's very, at that point, you're really trying, like, you want
We
your
are not
son,
human.
you want it to be your son. It's
Yeah.
a patrilineal society. You want a son.
I know, but yeah, it's just some modern day woman trying to wrap my head around the reality of this.
Fuck's sake.
Little girls were not to be educated, and when girls were born, in most areas, it was terrible news for the entire family. Which I don't get. They're the ones that can bear children and like actually
how do you-
pass on your whatever.
Yeah.
That was the culture.
They're just missing a
And they're
key
the ones
piece
that are
of that
receiving,
information.
Like, they're
You know-
receiving the bride price. Like, they're getting money for a daughter.
That's true.
I feel like that should actually be worth something, you know? Whatever.
Yeah, instead of it being in many other ways the other way around where the bride's family has to pay to get her married.
Women could not hold property in their name. It was family-held land. And the land was ruled by the patriarch of the family.
Oh yeah.
Women who bore no sons could be written out of their in-laws' will.
Well,
like,
yeah, because
basically-
you didn't give us anything of worth. You were basically not worth the money we paid
Hey,
for
fuck you, lady.
If the
Yeah.
husband died, the wives would basically be kept hostage by the husband's families, and then the wives' families would then have to like pay little ransoms to regain possession of their daughter back. But even in that lucky case, they could buy her freedom. All of the children that she bore to that family were property of the husband's family.
Oh no! So if there's no way she would leave them, most often, unless it's like really dire.
No, it's not happening.
You-
It's really just not happening. Not in a traditional culture like that.
Mm.
That's you'd be shunned even worse for that.
To make a long story short, it fucking sucked to be a girl in China.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that it's even that great now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm with ya.
yeah, as it is just recently starting to try and change. Like it's been bad for a while. We won't even get into the modern sexism of it right now.
Yeah.
But this is the world into which Minnie entered
Okay.
in 1912 as
Prospects were not
a
looking up.
missionary. Yeah. So she went to a place called Hefei. Christianity was still a fairly new religion in the area and was still a fairly unknown entity. But what we think of as a Christian education is somewhat different than what Minnie went to do. She was tasked with creating Sanqing Girls Middle School,
Okay.
which is like, let's get education for girls because we don't have
Radical.
How dare.
I know.
What a concept.
Yeah, well, they're crazy. It just might work.
A plan so crazy it just might work.
I know. Who thought?
Not me.
So, Minnie was 26 when she arrived in Hefei. It was an incredibly impoverished area. So she had high infanticide rates. There was low education levels. There was extreme illiteracy. And she got to work and did research in the area, working for months before the school was opened and trying to, recruit people and build it up. It took so much time because she was not only working to ingratiate herself with the people of Hefei that didn't trust her, she was a white girl, but also educating the parents of the town that a woman's education was not a complete waste of time and energy.
It's actually useful.
No, fuck you.
Oh.
Girls being learned? No.
Uh-oh.
Absolutely not. So she worked for 6 years there. And in that time, the school increased its enrollment steadily, and it grew so quickly that a high school department was added.
All right.
Popped it on. So we're going to take an aside here and talk about Christian schools and, the livelihood of missionaries. There's a lot of issue with the terminology and what we see as Christianity today.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, and preconceived notions of what all of this stuff entails. So, when I was active in the Mormon church, I wanted to be a missionary, but in that church it was about going out in the world and educating the ignorant on the ways of the Lord, and specifically, educating people about the Mormon church and trying it, calling it a good day if you could have someone come to church with you. At the time, I thought that was what good missionary work was, because that's what I had heard about over and over and over. There's a whole other aspect to missionary work that's way more important, and that's what Minnie lived every day. She was truly a Christian woman in her deeds and her dedication to living by helping the needy and afflicted of the area, working to make their lives better. It wasn't until she finally got into that field that she realized the extent of poverty.
Okay.
I mean, she grew up in Illinois.
Yeah.
She went to college.
Yeah.
It's not that bad for her, and so then she goes into China, where it sucks to be a female.
Yeah.
And she's trying to, change all of that as one tiny little school.
Yeah, and it's how do you do that other than, I guess, educating?
Yeah, you're looking at a mountain right in front of you.
Yeah.
So she wasn't building these schools to sit and teach the ways of Jesus Christ. She built these schools so that they could teach math and science and history and all of this stuff. All of the, personal life skills that a lot of the women were lacking, that they were just never, ever going to be taught. A lot of the students were Muslim and Buddhist, even though foreign missionaries were kind of seen as threats to Western imperialism. But that was also still something that was kind of being... I mean, like I said, we've got the regime that's dying. We've got the Qing dynasty that's on its deathbed.
Yeah.
And these guys are kind of the newcomers.
The new wave.
Yeah, they're the new wave. Exactly. But... a lot of the missionaries came in and they instituted schools, hospitals, and dispensaries.
Religious colonizers.
Yeah, but it was in basically trying to be in service of the poor, that was their main goal.
Right.
So she met and fell in love with a fellow American missionary in Hefei. They got engaged, but no one knew his name.
Wait, she found it.
That's my fiance Gerard, but he's never in. I mean, he gets back from Peru next week, but he has to leave the next day.
You just missed him.
France for he's got all of these projects, and you don't need to.
He goes to another school.
He's so he goes to another school.
You don't know.
She goes to China and marries another white dude. Nice, way to go, lady.
Way to go! Yeah,
I've done this. I know what game she's playing.
Fuck's sake.
All right, so. In 1918, her visa expired, so she and her fiancé, who goes to a different school, had to go back to the U.S. on furlough, and she made good use of that furlough and earned herself a master's degree in education at Columbia.
Okay, good stuff.
Jesus.
No big. It took her 2 years, and at the end of it, she was headhunted again. She was headhunted from a college in Nanjing.
Okay.
The college was called Ginling College, and it was the third of 4 colleges the founding missionaries sought to establish in China. Sorry, I take these very abrupt breaks.
That's okay, it's the cars and...
They wanted one to the north, one to the south, one to the east, and one on the west side of the country. So the colleges didn't want to recruit her to, teach. They wanted her to be the acting president of the institution for a year.
Oh, okay.
They were like, can you just be a temporary president? And so she was like, this is crazy cool opportunity, so she accepted. And she decided to postpone the marriage to her nameless fiancé.
She has time to learn his name.
She has time to learn his name, but basically after that they kind of fizzled and they broke up.
Well,
So she went back to China. She was the acting president. She was never the actual president, and that's because another woman who helped found the school, Matilda Thurston, was the official president. But from what I could gather, Matilda was the first president. She helped found the college, but there was bitterness about the fact that they were superimposing Western and Christian educations on Eastern women.
Okay.
So Matilda went to the U.S. on furlough in 1919 when Minnie showed up, basically to replace her furlough of a year. So they appointed one white girl for another. And there was a rumor among the staff that the move was to alleviate some tension among the staff. And when Minnie got there, the working relationships of faculty improved somewhat.
Okay.
Basically, she was a Karen, and so Minnie came in and replaced her.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
They're like, this lady's way too high-strung. We can't deal with this.
Right. Well, unsurprisingly, Minnie killed it at Gingling. It was the first institution to offer bachelor's degrees to women in China.
Hey!
They loved her so much they extended her presidency, her temporary presidency. While she was with the school, she created new courses like management and administration, extended the campus and managed the funding and budget, established a student teaching program that was unheard of at the time, and grew the enrollment of the college.
Amazing. She was just doing stuff.
Not everyone was in the Minnie Vautrin fan club. She was a huge advocate of making everyone leave the school and get into the community to understand the extreme poverty that they were working with. And encourage them to live kind of their lives for the betterment of their fellow people. So, kind of
immerse yourself in the community.
Immerse yourself
here.
in living with the impoverished and make your life about serving. If you're going to be a missionary, make your life about serving your community. And understand them, exactly. Live among them.
They're like, fuck no.
She'd have everyone leave their ivory towers and was said to be, quote, overbearing, conservative, and self-righteous, and had a, quote, watchful and interfering administrative style.
Well, they just don't like a woman in power.
Yep.
They just don't like it.
Small dick energy.
Yep, she took control and she probably micromanaged quite a bit because things hadn't been quite working out. So you gotta, to right the ship, you gotta, all right, stop doing it this way. So she wasn't universally popular, but she got shit done. So 3 years after she arrived, she hosted a fundraiser to help establish an elementary school close to the college. This school would house 150 students that lived near Gingling. Throughout her entire time at the college, enrollment increased every year. In addition to the school, Minnie helped establish a free clinic with the students, providing medical care access to the poorest in the nation. On weekends, she would often be seen wandering through the town, helping people with this problem or that one, just fixing shit up.
Just going, all right, I got some time. What can I fix?
Just fixing shit up.
Huh.
She took another sabbatical to the U.S. in 1926, but at this point, the returns to the U.S. were just to see family and kind of wait out the time.
Okay.
So when she returned to Nanjing in 1927, political tensions in the area are kind of rising. This general in the nationalist government's army led an attack through Nanjing and destroyed much of the town, slaughtering citizens and looting homes. They were known to kill foreigners, so she was undoubtedly in danger. As the army plowed through the school campus, she and others at the school hid away in the attic. Luckily, no one discovered them, and the college was left largely unharmed.
Okay,
Smell
good.
Anne Frank shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's really lucky.
This incident terrified foreigners, many of whom were missionaries. Most went back to their home countries, and Minnie was advised to leave as well, but she was in charge of the school, and she wasn't about to fucking let some murderous thugs take away their access to education.
Ah, yes.
The girls need to be taught.
God damn it.
There's an active threat of military just coming right
She's
through
like,
your building.
no, you're not taking my school.
Shit.
No.
Man, this is serious. I mean, so is teaching women as well.
But still.
But, this is bodily harm.
Nah, I wasn't serious before.
So by 1928, things were getting really bad. The nationalist government that took over mandated that all colleges needed to have only native-born citizens as their heads. So Minnie gave up the spot to one of the first graduates from Gingling, before, a woman named Wu Yifeng.
Okay.
Wu worked hard to resist military occupation of the school, so she, quote-unquote, reimagined the curriculum and turned the courses into a far more secular direction, even though the school was backed with Christian financing. It would not be a focus of the school anymore. We don't really talk about Jesus anymore. We're leading, we're shifting
Math,
gears.
science, social studies, history. There you go.
So this actually led to the stability of the school over the next 20 years throughout the wars.
That's how you get funding.
Yeah. So even though Minnie wasn't the president anymore, she was still active around the school and kept a close watch over the students. She was still like that weird campus woman, Over 3 years, she helped at the school during the city being under military occupation, basically.
Okay.
In 1931, she returned to the U.S. again on furlough, this time to care for her father, Edmund, whose health was failing back in Illinois. She stayed for a bit, but again and again, China called to her, so she returned to Ginling College.
Hey, can you come back?
Right.
We need you.
It's me, God. I need you in China.
I'm coming.
I know we had some fights. You said some things. I said some things. But, can you come teach the girls again?
Right.
Man. Your dad's going to be dead soon anyway. I'll just take him, and then I need you to go to China.
So she goes back, and then 5 years later, Edmund dies, and so she goes back. And
I know. I didn't think it'd be 5 years.
yeah. But she basically, after he died, and things were kind of progressively getting worse at this point. So she needed a break. She took a small vacation to a seaside town of Tsingtao, which is an area occupied by Japan at that point. Japan, at this point, really is taking a lot of Chinese land. They're just kind of...
They're just kind of grabbing.
That one's mine, that one's mine.
They're getting greedy.
Yes. So the two countries are battling it out in the summer of 1937.
Okay.
It's called the Marco Polo Bridge Incident.
Marco
Polo.
Hey, it's my eye. Sorry, bad joke.
On the night of 7 July, the Japanese units stationed at Fangtai crossed the border to conduct military exercises. Japanese and Chinese forces outside the town of Wanping, a walled town 16.4 kilometers or 10.2 miles southwest of Beijing, exchanged fire at approximately 2300 hours. The exact cause of this incident remains unknown. When a Japanese soldier, Private Shimura Kikujiro, failed to return to his post, Chinese Regimental Commander Ji Jingwen, 219th Regiment, 37th Division, 29th Route Army, received a message from the Japanese demanding permission to enter Wanping to search for the missing soldier. The Chinese flatly refused. Although Private Shimura returned to his unit, he claimed that he was suffering from stomachache. He had to find immediate relief in the darkness and got lost.
He had to shit himself.
Yeah, he sure did.
Sorry. Yeah.
His pants turned brown.
Oh, God.
By this point, both sides were mobilizing, with the Japanese deploying forces to surround Wanping.
Yep. So things deteriorated from that point.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. So Japan started bombarding fortresses and attacking these towns. When air raids started in August of 1937, Americans around the nation were basically escorted out of the country. The American embassy tried to get Minnie to join, but she was not going anywhere. I personally feel that I cannot leave. Men are not asked to leave their ships when they're in danger, and women are not asked to leave their children.
Whoa, strong stance.
So, following this incident, she returns to Ginling College with a mission to protect the school and its inhabitants. She prepared the campus by...
I picture her showing up in body armor with
I just imagine
God, samurai swords.
Yeah, exactly.
Not samurai swords. No, that's Japanese. Sorry.
But yeah, what is it? Not sitars.
Scimitars?
Fucking whatever, blades.
Yeah, something like
blades
that.
Blades crossed behind her back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
I was thinking sandbags. She's
like-
making walls, forts. She's just going around turning off
how
lights.
do you think she prepared the campus?
Sandbags.
So we've
Barbed
got.
wire?
So she
Yeah.
sent school
A
records.
tank?
Do it.
All right. So she sent school records to a safe area in Shanghai.
Okay, step one.
She sent them by car.
Step 1, she sent school records to a safe area in Shanghai.
Via
2,
Uber.
she purchased emergency supplies for the school, teaching students and faculty emergency response standards.
All right.
3, that was 3, was teaching...
Profit.
2, she bought the supplies. 3, she taught them how to do emergency response plans. 4, she cleaned out the classrooms and converted them into storage and refugee rooms.
Okay.
And 5, she ordered the digging of motherfucking trenches around the school.
Damn, she already knew what to do. I would just be running around going, what do I do?
These students are her children.
Yeah.
She
cares.
She
Deeply.
cares. So, she's doing what she can to protect them in a very sustainable way. She basically medieval castled the shit out of that school.
Sure sounds
You
like
emote.
it. Booby traps.
Booby traps.
Crocodiles.
Gives booby traps a whole new meaning.
Honestly, the only thing she's missing is the boiling water over the gates.
Yeah, they're all ladies, right? That's the
Yeah,
whole trick.
you just flash them, and they might be stunned. You don't know what they're gonna do.
I'd be stunned.
The whole school of just
Female soldier, you
teaching
used
women
flash attack.
flash attack.
Enemy is stunned.
You know what? I give up.
Yeah, there it is.
What were we talking
This was
about?
honestly a good day. This is a good day. You walk away. I
How
like
did we
that.
get here?
I like it.
Who am I?
What are we doing?
Who are you?
Did you see those boobs?
Nice.
Did you see those boobs?
I saw those boobs.
A
Cool.
lot of boobs.
That's
nice.
a lot of
Those are some
boobs.
nice
Have you ever
boobs.
seen so many boobs?
Not at once, man. Not at once.
Ugh. So these attacks all continued on, and the richer families in Nanjing could afford to escape and go somewhere else. They could just go to the Summer Palace.
The summer palace is always an option.
I'm sure it's open to the public too.
Oh,
I'm sure.
yeah,
I'm
but-
joking about it.
Yeah.
But whatever. They had another home somewhere else or whatever.
But fucking in the big house.
The big house.
Well, the Pavis, the poorest of the community, had nowhere to go and no way to get there. They were just fucked. They just had to stay in the city
had
and
to
deal with
endure,
all of this.
yeah.
Yeah. So they were left behind as sacrifices to a needless, bloody war.
Great.
Yeah, it's super great.
Expendables.
So most of the students went home to their families, and they were able to escape the violence. But as time went on, the population of the population of the school dwindled down as people are able to get out of the city.
Right.
Funds were waning because people were gone, and some of the lucky staff were only on half salary, but most of them were just not getting paid at all.
Oh, fuck.
The Chinese people are really still hurting
Yeah.
very badly. There's nowhere safe to exist, and people were tired of it, so a petition came in that proposed a number of refuge spots, which were safe zones in the city where people could gather, and the Japanese would absolutely not attack them for existing. Like, you can just walk here and you'll be safe.
You'll be good.
Yeah.
You hope.
What is it, a demilitarized zone or something like that?
Oh, okay.
It was accepted on one specific stipulation, was that no Chinese military could be in these safe zones. If they were caught in one, all bets were off, and every one of them would be in danger again.
Oh, shit.
War's back on!
War's back on,
One
exactly.
guy accidentally walks in. I didn't mean it.
Red light, green light!
Squid Games.
Let's go. So Ginling College was one of 25 refugee camps chosen as safe zones around the area. On its first few nights as a refugee camp, 850 people showed up seeking asylum. As the other refugee camps shut down and lost funding, Ginling stood fast and at one time or another would house up to 10,000 refugees at a time.
Damn.
The school was designed for 200 or maybe 300 girls to attend.
Oh my god, like, could anybody move? Probably, like, set up around campus.
They're set up around campus, and like all of these classrooms are now bedrooms, and all of the bathrooms are now like literally everywhere is just
Oh my gosh.
people. And you're right, there's nowhere to like sit
yeah.
down, you know. But they made it work.
You had to.
Yeah, it's amazing how adaptable humans are when there's just nothing left to do.
Yeah, yeah.
go on.
The will to survive is fairly resourceful and strong.
So Japanese soldiers were still a real and ever-present danger and would not respect boundaries if they had the chance. So Minnie also took up patrol duties to shoo away the Japanese soldiers.
Fuck did I tell
By
you?
yourself?
The fuck did I tell
With
you?
her gun.
Did I stutter?
Many women lost their husbands due to military violence, even as male civilians died on the streets. So Minnie set up trade vacation classes for widows who had lost their homes and sources of income. Over 100 women graduated through this program, and that allowed them to enter the workforce to support their families. Like,
Yeah.
they were able to get in and actually start making money again.
Good, okay.
I can feed my family.
Finally.
She rescued and cared for countless refugees, bringing people in off the street and protecting them. She buried the dead in the community. She helped bring babies into the world, all while this war is happening around them. Minnie helped to ensure the passage of life events in relative peace for many of the citizens of Nanjing.
Damn.
When women had established themselves at the refugee camp, Minnie helped gather information on their husbands and sons that were missing, often helping them locate the missing men and reuniting the families. Japanese soldiers took women in the middle of the night, so Minnie walked to the Japanese embassy to plead with the officials to ask them to stop letting their soldiers rip up peace documents.
Yeah.
Like, they would just rip it up in front of people and be like, haha, you don't have any papers.
Fuck your
Eh.
peace.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, They think they have all this power, and they're just going to wield it over whoever they think they can.
Well, yeah. Historically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this whole time the Japanese army is still wreaking havoc on the town, and in December of 1937, Minnie wrote a haunting entry in her diary.
Okay.
Also, trigger warning.
Okay, yeah. Trigger.
I could have read it in a woman's voice, by the way.
How would that sound exactly?
However you wanted it to.
That's
She's
female.
from Illinois.
That's female Professor Wirt.
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 Old throwback.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how a lady from Illinois speaks Chinese, so I'm not really sure.
All right.
I think she wrote it in English.
I think it would.
She might have written it in English.
Okay.
Oh, there is some... Oh, God, I'm going to butcher some words in here, but we're going to try.
Yep.
There probably is no crime that has not been committed in this city today. 30 girls.
Hold on.
Run over by a car.
Oh, my God! 30? They were all in a pyramid doing, like, some gymnastics. All right.
It was a Evel Knievel stunt gone horribly.
Oh, no!
Run over by a bus.
The carnage.
By a bus. All right, well, we have the chance.
So reading really fast.
Okay. 30 girls were taken from language school last night, and today I have heard scores of heartbreaking stories of girls who were taken from their homes last night. One of the girls was but 12 years old. Food, bedding, and money have been taken from people. I suspect every house in the city has been opened again and yet again and robbed. Tonight, a truck passed in which there were 8 or 10 girls, and as it passed, they called out, "Ju Ming, Ju Ming, save our lives." The occasional shots that we hear out on the hills or on the street make us realize the sad fate of some men, or some man, very probably not a soldier.
Very probably not.
Yeah, very probably not a soldier. All right. Sorry, I was rereading that last sentence.
Yep.
So it's just absolute chaos. Women are in complete danger at any time of day or night.
They're in danger
even
any
in
time
class.
of day or night because all of these men can also
Drive.
And it's the same type of dude. They never evolved.
No.
Okay? They never evolved. Okay? Ugh.
Now they just drive loud cars.
Yeah.
So these guys can, like, just drop the pretense of trying to even be in the military. They can just be like, I'm a Japanese soldier. I'm gonna carry off some girls.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing, and just, they were getting taken left and right.
Mm.
So Minnie was losing steam, but she refused to give up. At this point, she is supporting the lives of thousands of displaced Chinese people, putting her life at risk every day in the work to feed, clothe, house, and tend to each of them. This is obviously not just being, like, her doing this.
Yeah.
It's a whole group of
But
people.
she's doing a lot of management of this. I mean, that takes a lot of time.
Yes. And she instituted a lot of this action.
I don't know shit, but I can imagine it would take a lot of time.
Shit about fuck.
I don't know shit about fuck.
See?
See?
Medical care was a constant, as was the constant violation of the refugee status of the camp. She wrote letters in her diary to others. She narrated the horrific events in these entries, like an MC would announce, maybe a mildly interesting play during a football game. Like, no, that was a pretty smart move on his part. Cool. The horror was just.
Events sound to her.
What?
I love that's how sporting events sound to you.
No. And two of the Japanese soldiers have entered the classroom. The women are building a fort out of desks and chairs.
Oh, and here one of them takes the chair and she's hitting him over the.
Oh,
Hit him over the head.
Beautiful shot. She got him right in the eye, but he's not down yet. He is getting back up, and boom! She hits him over the head with a chair. It was beautiful.
Let's go back to the slow motion replay.
Yeah. MVP.
Oh, and now, you know what? Now that we're rewatching this, you notice how this other woman kind of takes it, and she was able to provide with a secondary chair as he's recovering from the first
Oh,
hit.
yeah, that's an assist
Yeah,
right
that's
there,
an assist
Lauren.
right there if I've ever seen one.
All right, how'd we do?
A beatdown assist. It was alright.
Would you watch it again?
Maybe.
Okay, thanks for your honesty.
I watch a lot of sports. It's not your fault.
I don't watch sports if you can't tell.
I know this. What a non-sports person.
Yeah.
Go sports.
Yeah. Annika's
Throw that ball.
impersonation-
Make that shot in the net ball.
Annika's impersonation of basketball is squeak, squeak, squeak.
Yeah, that's a great one, though. Like, ear-shattering buzzers.
Yeah.
I hate going to basketball games in person for that reason.
It's a perfect representation, too.
It's pretty good.
Anyway, so she's commenting on all of the horrors that are going on in her city, with the same casualness of which we just discussed.
Yeah. She just saw some horrible, terrific trauma today.
Yeah.
Desensitized.
Unfortunately. Once she even wrote that the women of Japan would be ashamed of their men and their behavior if they really knew what was going on.
Damn right.
Japanese soldiers didn't exactly have the respect for a piece of paper, so during the occupation they would tear up papers that were supposed to protect the status of the college and the inhabitants of it.
Right, protecting civilian lives.
And once they tore it up, they'd just go grab girls on the campus and carry them off.
Mm-hmm.
So the authorities would be called, they'd come, they'd be like, all right, Japanese guy, you can't do this, you promise, like, you can't just tear up the piece of paper.
Soldiers.
So they'd put it back up, but, like, by that time the damage is done, you know?
Yeah, they didn't really
and
take
then the
full
Japanese soldiers would tear them down again and take more women.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened all the time.
They just knowingly let it happen.
Right. So Minnie would go back to the embassy. Between December 18th, 1937 and January 13th, 1938, she returned to the embassy a number of times, walking through all of the war-torn China as a white woman. Not all of China, but
no, I know, but like
through the city.
She walked all the way across China every time.
Once a day, she walked across China.
But like she had to go through this war-torn rural areas just to get to the embassy, and she's walking.
And as a person who really shouldn't, very
noticeable,
obviously should not be there.
Very noticeable.
You are not one of us, and you are. How are you walking through peacefully?
You, the white lady. Yeah, you.
Yep,
you're
only
literally
one there.
shining from 2 miles away. I can see you, bitch. Sorry for the yelling. I realized how loud I was.
Okay, so she's walking through the city and she's trying to plead with the embassy to get their soldiers just to stop ripping up these papers and stop carrying off the women. Like, come on,
Do you know how expensive
that
ink
your guys
is?
are better than this. So this is like 27 days that she's doing this a number of times. Even if it's 6 trips, that's a series of violations that happen on the campus every 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, it is a plague at this point on that campus.
But honestly, though, what a fucking testament to her faith in a bureaucracy that
She
obviously
keeps
wasn't
going.
working.
She keeps going.
We found the Vogon in the group.
Can't do it.
Can't do it?
No Hitchhikers fans?
Oh, no, not really.
I did not recognize the name, sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Deep cuts for the Hitchhikers fans.
Wah,
Wah, wah, wah. Nobody thought it was funny.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So
Sorry, Mom.
It happens. So she continues to reunite these families. She continues to protect all the house refugees at the camp. She continues to protect the campus as best she can. She wrote in her diary that all the issues she dealt with over the years and fucking cars.
All the cars she's dealt with.
All the cars that she's dealt with over the years. And it drained her. The everyday struggle, the constant slog and violence, it really catches up with people. So in April of 1940, she wrote, "I'm about at the end of my energy.
Oh, yeah.
Can no longer forge ahead and make plans for the work, for on every hand there seems to be obstacles of some kind. I'm fucking done. I'm ready to give up.
I'm so tired of hitting speed bombs.
Go back to America,
This
damn
has
it!
been the worst thing. I've tried so hard."
I go live my life in Illinois.
And this is we're talking about, like, the rape of Nanjing. This is during that time. Yeah. So that had only really lasted 6 weeks, but the danger of, and the aftermath and all of the occupation lasted for years.
Yeah.
The spring of 1940, exhausted and completely burnt out, run down and terrified about the fate of the school, she finally ran out of gas. She suffered from extreme anxiety, I would imagine absolutely a deep depression and a shit ton of PTSD.
Oh, after what she saw?
And, I mean, not just saw, but what she's been through,
True.
what her people have been through, like, what they've seen.
Yeah.
It's a whole community of just shared trauma. Oh, my God, it's got to be so horrible. So a colleague escorted her out of the country, and she left Ginling College to return to the U.S. On her return, Minnie fell into a deep depression. She longed for her home, and instead of relaxing, she became even more upset about the fate of that home now that their fiercest advocate was no longer around. A fate that was now completely out of her control. She took a handful of sleeping pills, but her suicide attempt was unsuccessful.
Oh, hon.
She slowly lost all her will to exist. By spring of 1941, she'd had enough. She wrote in her diary, quote, "Had I 10 perfect lives, I would give them all to China." 1 year after her departure from Ginling College, she turned on the gas stove in her apartment in Indianapolis, slowly poisoning the air around her. She fell asleep and never woke up.
Oh, no.
Since her death, she's been commemorated in a number of monuments, articles, awards, and films for her service. Ginling now has a statue of her for her assistance in protecting the school during the massacre.
Oh, wow. No, I was not aware we were going to end there.
It abruptly ended.
It did abruptly end. Oh,
Yes.
my God.
It said, "You're a problem."
I mean, she was so obviously very deeply connected to the people that she had been...
She'd spent her entire life fighting and fighting and fighting, and she's, 60 years old at that point, and she's lived through all of this war that just won't end, and, she's at, the whole school's out of money, they're probably out of supplies, she's fought for years and years to make sure that these people are safe, and it is a losing battle the entire way.
And she just dropped dead.
Yep. It killed her. I mean, it may not have killed her that day, but she got home, and then you're thinking about it, it's on your mind.
Can't fight for freedom.
Yeah, now you're back in America. You really can't help anymore.
Yeah, you're so far away.
You have nothing to do in America. You have no life there. So what is there to do but focus on the thing that you left behind?
And all
especially
it does is
in
freak you
such
out.
a state of flux and danger. I mean, you're not leaving at a very good time for these people.
No, I know.
But she knew her limit, and she knew that she had to be done. She couldn't.
Well, China's wealthy now, but unfortunately not due to things that she would approve of.
No.
No.
Yeah,
well,
so
on
that's
that
Minnie
note,
Vautrin.
I'm and now...
That's Minnie.
What a
That is
Minniesode.
Minnie.
That's a little Minniesode.
The Minniesode.
This is an hour.
Yeah.
And the last one was 2.5.
That's
That was
fair.
a-
The last one
that
we
was a
recorded was
deep
a
dive.
2-hour thing. If you go to our YouTube page, you can see the unedited cuts of this. Not see, but you can listen to the unedited cuts of this where we just go off on absolutely nonsensical tangents that somehow connect one to another.
Not entirely connected to the topic, but they do kind of connect to each other.
Yes.
We get there eventually.
You'll learn about us. We tell stories. It'll be great. We'll do it for this one too. Fuck it. I got the raws of a lot of stuff. I'll drop them in there.
Yeah, if you got a story, you drop them. I'm trying to think if I've got one, but not right now.
A story about what?
I don't know. I gotta get the Discord going.
Yeah, we have we have socials. Follow us there.
Oh, yes.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, if you have the opportunity to post a rating or whatever,
Yeah, Spotify has
Do that.
them. Apple Podcasts has them. I'm
it's
sure
not
Amazon.
hard to do that.
Yes, but if you want to rate, review,
share, subscribe.
Yeah, and it helps other people find the podcast. It helps people tell other people to listen to the podcast.
Gives us a little more visibility. And
Yeah, reviews are killer.
Yeah, they're everything to us. So if you have any time, takes about a minute or two, feel free to either just rate with the stars, and if you feel like you have extra time, feel free to write a review. We can also find us on Instagram, and our Instagram is at WellBehavedWomen.
Instagram is Well Behaved Women Podcast.
Well-Behaved Women Podcast.
I think it's because Well Behaved Women was
We should
taken.
just get a whiteboard in here that has a...
I
Yep,
know.
it's the whole
I have
list.
a whole...
We'll do a whole image
I'm gonna
list of it.
laminate something. Then there's our Reddit. The Reddit has its own subreddit community, and it is r/well-behaved women.
That's it.
Yeah,
Well
that's
Behaved
it.
Women is, I think
that's
that's it.
just it. And
Have you
then
thought about putting these in the descriptions of the pods when you post them?
I think I can go back and do that
Yeah,
for
let's do it.
everything.
That's
That's
what you
fine.
should do.
You also could just look at the details on the
Links and
our
tags in
website.
description.
Links and tags in the description, guys.
Oh my god,
Fucking
we finally
streamline.
get to say it. I never get to say that before.
Well, then say it.
Oh my god. Let me think.
Say the thing.
Say the thing. Which part of the thing?
Link the
Oh,
links in
the
you
link-
said you wanted to say it.
Oh, that's right. All right. The links for our socials are in the description, so look below and you can find those there. There'll be one for Facebook. We do have our Facebook page for Well Behaved Women Podcast.
Oh, yes.
For you old folks.
What'd you say?
I said for you old folks.
Oh, for you old folks. I thought you said free old folks.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that like our content is posted like on everything. We'll make sure that all of them are available on everything. But if however you want to engage with us,
we'll make this tidy and neat pretty soon here.
But we're a hot mess right now. And that's
yeah, we
fine.
are.
The Hot Mess Express.
We're in a trailer. We've got blanket curtains, which is kind of fun, and we are all on one mic.
Grassroots!
Grassroots!
Really feels like we're starting a revolution in this.
Grassroots revolution.
This underground pod.
Underground pod.
With the crappy audio.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, thank
Fantastic.
you guys. Thank you for listening, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Yes, and it's been a fucking podcast, man.
Stay classy.
Stay classy.
Stay classy. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What do I say? Or it's not
Stop
for you.
for you, Gary!
There it is. That's what we say.
That's the sign off.
Blow
That's
out
the sign
speakers
off.
right at the end.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. Bye.
I promise, next week we're gonna have something written out that we can just make sure it all
No, I
looks
kind of
good.
like that it's a hot mess every week.